Okay, so welcome everyone to today's webinar. As you know, today we're going to talk about a job interview and how to survive it. That's a very difficult topic and very stressful to everyone. Well, but I hope during this 1 hour I'm going to help you prepare for the next job interview you're going to have in English. Okay, so as Anya has already said, please be active during our webinar today. So if you have any questions, if you have like big questions to me, please ask me those questions at the very end of today's presentation. If you don't understand something during the webinar, you can of course then ask me if this is just like I don't understand the question or I don't understand the word. Nie wiem, jakie osoby tutaj z jaką znajomością mamy dzisiaj, więc tylko dla przypomnienia, to webinarium jest w większości po angielsku, więc jeżeli jakiekolwiek mamy pytania większe, to na koniec, natomiast jeżeli cokolwiek jest niezrozumiałe, jeżeli chodzi o język, nie rozumiemy zdania, pytania, to od razu proszę do mnie pisać w question box. Okay, so I think we can start. Now, first we're going to take a look at our agenda for today's webinar. So what are we going to talk about today during the webinar? Let's take a look at the screen right now, and you're going to see some topics. So first we're going to talking about yourself. So I'm going to help you prepare this introduction during every interview you go to when you have to talk about yourself and introduce yourself. Then we're going to review the top interview questions. In this part, I'm going to ask you for help because I'm going to give you a question and then I'm going to ask you to give me some possible answers or some guidelines on how this question should be answered. Then we're going to take a look at the interview questions to ask. This is a very important part because sometimes you are expected to ask a question, and this is the part where you have to be active during the interview, a job interview. So we're going to take a look at the top 10 questions. Of course, we're also going to look at the language and tenses, the grammar tenses used during the interviews and the vocabulary. Then we're going to take a look, we're going to just quickly go through the phone interview because phone and Skype interview because this is more and more popular among employers, and then just at the very end on how to dress and what clothes to choose for the job interview. Now, okay, before we move on to the first thing, I want to ask you, how many of you have participated in at least 5 interviews in your lifetime? Okay, czyli ile osób, kto z Państwa co najmniej w 5 interview brał udział w życiu? If it's more, you can tell me if it's more. If the question is if it's in English, well, any interview, okay? Because today we're just going to talk about the English, but of course probably you participated in mostly in Polish interviews. Oh yeah, I have a lot of people who are, oh wow, okay, we have like I think 90% of today's participants are participating in more than 5 interviews. So we have experts here. Okay, so that's why. Take a look at the next slide because so many of you have taken part in so many job interviews. Together, we're going to try to think of the best answers. So during today's webinar, I want you to share ideas with the others and share your experience with the others. What's more, I want you to be very, very active. So if I'm asking a question, please give me an answer in the question box. This is how we're going to do it. Okay, guys, so let's move on. Let's move on to the first part. So the most important part of your interview is, of course, the first minute of it, so the first impression. Take a look at this nice proverb that we have. You never get a second chance to make a first impression. Czyli nigdy nie dostaniemy drugiej szansy, żeby zrobić pierwsze wrażenie. I really, really think it's true. Do you agree with this? Do you agree with this sentence? You can write your answer in a question box. Do you agree with it? Yeah, well, yeah, a lot of you say that yes, of course. I mean, it's so true. We never get a chance, we can never get a second chance. That's why, always keep in mind, and this is actually good news for you, because what we say is only 7%. Okay, so 7% of what comes from words. So don't worry if you don't give correct answers during the job interview. 38% comes from your voice, so how you pronounce things and your intonation and your accent. And of course, 55% is your body language. Today, we're not going to talk about the body language. We're going to concentrate rather on the words and on, well, the answers themselves. Okay, so before we move on to the questions and answers, let's take a look at a few very, very simple first few minutes, let's say, conversations, okay? So like, hi, how are you, and so on. Let's take a look at the few examples that you have. You're going to see them on the screen in a second. So hi. Okay, okay, now you see it. Hi, I'm John Anderson. This is what can happen to you when you enter the interview. Hi, good morning, nice to meet you. How are you today? Or, how are you doing? Your answer would be, I'm fine, how are you? Or fine, thanks. How was your trip? This can be the next question, since sometimes you have to travel to different locations and try to look for the job somewhere else than in your city. Was it easy to find our office? Right? This can also happen on the job interview. Would you like anything to drink? Again, very useful phrase. Yes or no, right? Yes, I'd like some water, coffee, or tea, please. And the last question, maybe it's funny, but I think it's very, very useful, especially in a stressful situation. So let's take a look at the last question I prepared for you. Always have it ready in your head. Could you please show me the toilet, or could you show me where the toilet or restroom is? All right. Okay, the toilet is more British, the restroom is more American. I might have met some of you during my webinar about differences between American and British English, so you remember the difference, I hope. Okay, listen everyone, let's move on to the active part of your webinar participation today. So the top questions and answers. Now, when you introduce yourself, just one more thing, just a quick note. When you introduce yourself in English, when you prepare yourself before the job interview, remember to do 3 important things. Let's take a look at the screen. Number 1 is prepare to talk about yourself. This is my biggest advice to you. Please prepare for the interview. If you have someone in your family who knows English, practice this before you go to the interview. Then be prepared to talk about your work experience. I mean here grammar. This is what we're going to revise at the very end of our webinar today. The grammar. So what grammar you should be using in giving basic information about your experience. And the last one, which I think is number 1 actually, practice pronunciation of key expressions from your CV. Okay? Gorąca prośba, zawsze sprawdźmy wymowę kluczowych słów naszego CV, żeby nie było wpadki w pierwszych paru zdaniach naszych. Okay, so this is very, very important. Please practice pronunciation. If you don't know how to pronounce a word, at the end of today's webinar, I'm going to give you some useful links on where to check how to pronounce certain words. Okay, so let's move on to this part of top questions and answers. Now, this is how we're going to do it. I'm going to give you a question that you might hear during the job interview. What I want you to do is to give me an answer, like the perfect answer, or to give me some guidelines on how to respond. Okay? Czyli zadaję Państwu pytanie, będziecie je widzieć na ekranie. Następnie proszę o odpowiedzenie w question box albo danie jakiejś perfekcyjnej odpowiedzi, może być po polsku, jeżeli ktoś się nie czuje na siłach po angielsku, lub jakichś wytycznych, lub jakieś rady, jak powinno się odpowiedzieć na to pytanie. Okay, so let's start. My first question to you. Are you the best person for this job? What would be the perfect answer, or what is the good advice on how to respond to this question? What do you think? I'm waiting for your answer. Okay, we have very interesting answers, like sure, thank you. Oh, good. Someone is mentioning experience. Yes, because of experience, because I'm the best. Yeah, well, okay, you mentioned mostly experience and that you're the best. Wow. Okay, we have very, very confident people today here because everyone is writing, yes, I'm the best, I'm the best. Okay, we have like 50 people saying that they are the best. Well, I think this is a very, very good strategy. This is a very good strategy. But don't okay, we have bigger ones. I'm qualified for the position due to my existence. Okay, very nice answer. Yeah, Anna. Okay, I'm the best. Good. Okay, well, wow. I like the challenges. Okay, we have we have a lot of different answers, but they are all very nice. Most of them are that you're the best. Of course, this is a very good answer that you're the best, but don't forget that you have to give some very, very specific examples of why you're the best. Someone, Katarzyna is writing that, yeah, we should convince that we are the best. Yeah, well, exactly. Support your answer with some examples. This is what you see now on the screen. Oh, wow. It's amazing because I have very, very long answers. Wow, very nice answer, Joanna. I mean, this is very, very long answer, but very nice. Okay, so let's take a look at some. So remember to give examples of your skills. So don't forget. The next important thing is to compare the job description with your abilities. Yeah. So, connect the job with who you are. And then I'm going to give you an example. So I'm a hardworking person. I have perfect interpersonal skills, which are so useful in the job we're talking about. This is just an easy example, but this is what we're looking for. So something very, very simple, but again, we have to give examples. Okay, everyone, I'm so happy that you're so active today. This makes me, smile. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. The problematic question, especially in the time of crisis, a lot of people are losing jobs or changing jobs right now because of the crisis and because of, different circumstances. Now, sometimes we are looking for any job and not our dream job, our perfect job. So that's why sometimes you may hear a question, not exactly are you too smart, but are you overqualified for this job? Now let's take a look at the screen. You see a question, are you overqualified for this job? What do you think could be the perfect answer to it? Or some guidelines on how we should answer it? Pytanie brzmi, czy jesteś zbyt wysoko wykwalifikowany na to stanowisko? Well, I think this is a difficult question because there are no answers. Maybe someone would like to comment on it. Oh yeah, I hope my abilities are sufficient. Someone wrote, yeah, this is a good answer. I can adapt, yeah, okay. Well, okay, so we still have some ideas. I can always, I'm reading the answers of participants today. So Agnieszka wrote, I can learn new things, right? Katarzyna. Oh, we should answer no. Try to convince that you can learn. Okay, so Katarzyna says that, yeah, we dramatic and kind of, well, strong, but at the same time, why not? I mean, it all depends on the context and on the situation. But your ideas were brilliant as well. So thank you very much for being so active once again. Okay, let's move on to the next one, which is describing yourself. Now, very often you might hear just a sentence. Can you tell us something about yourself? Okay, so the standard question, but how should we respond? How should we respond to this question? I want you to give me maybe not exactly the answer because this is very individual, but how should or should not we respond to this? So we have this very, very big question, which is describe yourself. Any ideas on how to reply? Self-confident, yes, you always have to be self-confident, yes. Okay. Any other ideas on, maybe not the answer, but some ideas, yeah, that you are competent? These are the answers. I'm reading the answers. We should mention our characteristic and support. It will, yeah, examples again. So Anna said something about giving examples again. Yeah, show your strengths. Very good. Okay, great. You're giving me a lot of adjectives now. Yes, I'm responsible, well organized. Very good. Now, of course, because this is so individual, I'm just going to give you some guidelines, okay? Some guidelines about answering this question. Remember that it cannot be a 10-minute talk about yourself. It just has to be like a sentence or two or three, but something quite short. Not to, well, exactly. Katarzyna just wrote it in the answer, so we shouldn't make long answers. Yeah, something interesting, but something, you know, something nice. Okay, so remember, not a long talk. It should be even a one-sentence description of what you do and who you are, and just, yeah, so who you are. And talk about your biggest strength and the major benefit that a company will derive from your strength. So something, so again, connect who you are with the company you're applying to. Now I'm going to give you an example. You're going to see the example on the screen in a second. These are very, very specific facts. This person is saying, I'm a seasoned, so I'm experienced retail manager, strong in developing training programs and loss prevention techniques that have resulted in revenue savings of over 2.3 million for some company during the past 11 years. How do you like this person's answer? Do you like it? Do you think it's a strong answer for this describe yourself question? Do you like it? Yeah, some people say it's just perfect. Yeah, of course, maybe not all of us have this, 2.3 million savings on our account, but, still, I'm sure we all have something to, something to show. Yes, someone's saying, yes, give details. Exactly. If you have some impressive details, of course. So definitely show them in your answer. So what we have to remember, not long, one sentence, and of course, be specific, so no blah, 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 right? And of course, as usually, be prepared. This is what I'm going to repeat today over and over again. Be prepared. This is a standard question. You can do it at home. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. The next tricky question is about a good boss and a bad boss. Okay, we've all had maybe better and worse bosses, but it doesn't matter. During the job interview, we have to answer somehow this tricky question and politically correct. So if you have a question, please describe your best boss and your worst boss. What is the best answer, or what is the good advice? Okay, maybe some ideas about how to reply. Yeah, well, you can talk about the best boss who is patient, yeah? So concentrate on the best. Remember that this question is about your past, yeah? It's about your experience and your past, yeah? Okay, you're giving me examples of your worst boss. Okay, this is really funny. Thank you for giving me so many adjectives to describe the worst boss. Okay, but how to? Okay, you can give some examples. Katarzyna is writing. You can give me some. You can give some examples of two of them. Yeah, you can say that you've learned something from the worst one. Yeah, this is a very good example, Katarzyna. I think you are a specialist in interviewing people, maybe. Okay, my best boss was, yeah, well, exactly. Someone's giving me an answer that my best boss was exceptional leader. Okay, let's take a look at some answers here. I've learned from, take a look at the screen now. Okay, I've learned from each boss I've had. From the good ones, what to do. From the challenging ones, what not to do. Do you like this answer? Oh, Katarzyna is an expert in interviewing. Okay, so Katarzyna, you're going to be an expert today. Okay. Yes, this is a very nice answer. Perfect, diplomatic, definitely. Okay, let's take a look at one more. One more possible answers. Early in my career, I had a mentor who helped me a great deal. We still stay in touch, and I've honestly learned something from each boss I've had. How do you like this one? Is it nice? Yeah, okay. Yeah, some people are saying some people like it too. Okay, so it's your choice, or you can think of something completely different, but you know, just something that is close, let's say. Okay, the next question is about our the pace you work in. Yeah, so the pace, chodzi tutaj o tempo naszej pracy. So we might have the question about the pace of your work. So, for example, how would you describe the pace of your work? So, at which you work. So, is it, you know, fast, slow, or something? How do you think we should answer it? Some ideas. Yeah, think about it. Yeah, it depends. Everyone says it depends. Um, yeah, it depends what kind of job that is, of course. Yeah, and your pace describes on the tasks. Yeah, in the position. Of course, it all depends on the position. Of course, always be very careful how do you respond to this question. Well, again, depending on the job you're applying for. The universal answer, I'd say, and I think the, again, politically correct and diplomatic would be that you work at a steady pace, but usually complete work in advance of the deadline. I think this is like, I don't know, do you like this answer here? That you work at a steady pace. Yeah, some people are saying that they like this. Yeah, that I think it's a very nice answer. Exactly. Some like just according to, of course, the job you're applying for, but it's pretty universal. Okay. Okay, so we've got this one about the pace. So don't forget about it next time you have an interview. Now let's move on to the, well, to the tricky one. What you're going to see now on the screen is a joke, so please don't take it too seriously. This is not what I'm teaching here today. So the tricky question, why do you want to work here? Let's take a look at the screen. I don't want to work here. I just want to get paid. I'm sure you're old enough to understand the nuance. Okay, well, of course, please do not say that during the next job interview, because that's not what we're going to learn today. But if this is not a good answer, so what do you think would be a good answer? Why do you want to work here? Or maybe if you don't want to give me the specific answer, what should we check before answering this question, before preparing to answer this question? Pytanie, jak możemy się przygotować do odpowiedzi na takie pytanie? Yeah, someone said try to develop a new area. Yeah. Oh yeah, opinions on the internet. So that's exactly it. I mean, we always have to make some research before going to the interview. Yeah, a lot of people, a lot of you are very right. So I think that's these are very good answers that you're giving me. Okay, take a look. First of all, as usually, you know my standard phrase, be prepared. And how can you prepare? Well, let's take a look at some ideas. So research the company. Check the About section of the website or talk to people who work there. Okay, we have very, coming back to your answers, because I think that your company has a really good position on the market. Yeah, this is a very nice answer. Yeah, how you can grow with a company. Well, yes, how you can develop with a company. That's a good answer as well. Yeah, some people are mentioning experience. Yeah, you have millions of ideas. Okay. All right. Well, let's take a look at one more guideline. Again, talk about the benefits of working for this employer. So this is what you've already written in the question box. Very nice answers. And the sample answer is, I would be happy to work for a company with long history of leadership in the industry. This is a very nice answer, but some of the answers that you've provided in the question box were very nice, very similar, and very nice answers. Okay, I think we're done with talking about the why we want to work there. Now again, a tricky question about the strengths and weaknesses. Again, we have to prepare, so we have to think of something at home to be ready. Well, let's take a look at some guidelines again. Some ideas? What to mention in your greatest strengths and weaknesses? Okay, I'm waiting for your answers. While you're writing your answers, let's take a look. Yeah, self-confidence again. Yeah, of course, talk about the strengths. That's obvious. Yes, in weakness parts, when we talk about weaknesses, we should tell them how we want to work on them. I think this is a very good idea, Anna. Yeah, okay. You have very, very nice ideas, a lot of examples you're giving me, a lot of adjectives. Perfect. Okay. Let's take a look at some guidelines. So describe the skills and experience that directly correlate with the job you're applying for. That's one thing, definitely. And some examples, again, some sample answers. My greatest strength is to work with a strict deadline and my ability to finish the task on time. This is just one of many, many strengths you may have. Or, for example, my greatest strength is carrying success along with me and remembering the failures so that I should not repeat them. Okay, how do you like those answers? Would they work for you? Would they work for you? The answers that you see on the screen right now. Yeah, okay. Yeah, they can be you can find them quite useful when you're preparing for the job interview, or just think of something completely different, of course, very, very individual for you. Okay, now we're going to move on, I think, to the most difficult question, in my opinion, maybe, about leaving your previous job. Okay, so I'm sure in your work experience, you've experienced leaving the job. So either there are two options, right? You left on your own, like it was your decision, but sometimes it might have happened that you were fired, right, from your previous job. Now, of course, these questions appear during the job interview, so let's take a look at some possible answers. Of course, first I'm going to ask you how to reply to a question about why were you fired? Again, we talk about some, politically correct and very diplomatic answers. So what do you think we should say? Why were you fired? Not to lie. Yes, this is rule number one. Of course, not to lie, because that's not possible. No, I'm not a prophet. Don't worry. No. I'm not. This is just an example. Okay. Yes, to be made redundant. Of course, fired, yes, this is a very everyday expression. You may be, to lay off, due to redundant. Yes, there is an example if, a lot of people were fired and, due to some redundancies or layoffs. Yeah, financial losses that come. You have a lot of very, very specific answers, and this is good. And remember, of course, never to lie. Let's take a look at some possible answers here. Like, I'm giving you the very universal ones, yeah? So they're not giving you any specific reasons why you were fired, but just very, very general. So now I have an opportunity to explore jobs that better suit my qualifications and interests. Do you like this answer? Yeah, again, it's very, well, universal, I'd say. Okay, the second example, again, of a very general answer. So my competencies were not the right match for my previous employer's needs, but it looks like they'd be good fit in your organization. How do you like the second one? Oh, some people like it better. Yeah, so yeah, actually a lot of people are writing now that they like the second one more than the first one. Yeah, okay. So I think this is, I think, we could vote, but I think this is generally the better one. Okay, let's move on to the situation where you left your job. So you decided to say bye. So what could be your answer? Of course, maybe some guidelines, because your the specific answers are difficult to give here. It all depends. Well, there's generally a one very, very important rule, which I think we should all remember. You now see this on the screen, probably right now you see this on the screen. Don't badmouth your boss, czyli nie obgadujemy poprzednich firm ani szefów. Now, why? Because of course this is impolite, but yeah, but definitely because you just never know who knows someone else, right? And I'm sure you've been to a lot of situations when someone knew someone, and you know that's just the worst thing you can do. Okay, I have a lot of very nice answers, like you're looking for new challenges. Very nice, Ella. You would highlight that I'm a long runner. Yeah, this is what Joanna said. Yeah, most of you mentioned new challenges. Yeah, so this is why you wanted to change your job. Let's take a look at some possible example. I found myself bored with the work and looking for more challenges. So this is exactly what you wrote. And I'm an excellent employee and didn't want my unhappiness to have any impact on the job I was doing for my employer. This is pretty long, but generally it's about challenges. And my second suggestion, my second possible answer is there isn't room for growth with my current employer and I'm ready to move on to a new challenge. So it's all connected with challenges. Yes, I think your answers will exactly the same as the examples on the screen right now. So perfect. You wouldn't use the word boring. Yes, I think using the word boring is a little bit, yes, it's a little bit risky because it depends what you were doing. Maybe you're applying for the job where you would have to say, do exactly the same. So yes, the second one is more diplomatic and safer. Yes, okay, very good. Now we're moving on to the last question. The last question during our job interview is they ask us about the company. Now, my question to you is, where do you look for the information about the company? Where do you look for the information about the company you're applying for? Website, internet, yeah, internet. All of you just writing internet. Yes, friends, very good. Why not? Yeah, basically you can find everything on the internet. Friends employed. Yes, why not? If you have if you know anyone working there, why not? Okay, so the places on the internet, where to find it. So the company's website. This is what someone mentioned as well. So about us section of the company website and generally the website of the company. It's always a good idea to just Google the company and check what's been written on the company. Sometimes it's good to find some blogs that mention the company, although it might not be true what they're writing there, but still. The next point is discussion boards. Why not? Yeah, just take a look. And of course, if this is a big company, probably there's a social networking sites connected with the company. Okay, so this is exactly where we're looking for the information. Now, let's move on to the next point on our agenda about questions that you should ask during the interview. Now, before we move on to the list of 10 top 10 questions, I want to ask you, do you have any ideas? Just give me just an idea of some question you might ask during the job interview. About values, Isabella wrote, okay. About the process, yeah. About the tasks, yeah. The career path, very nice questions. About exactly, about the programs, about the salary, about benefits. Okay, all right. I think we have a lot of different answers here, and they're all very useful. Yeah, the organizational structure, about the team, yeah, you'll be working with. Okay, great. Okay, you have a lot of ideas. You have like tons of ideas, so you're really good. You're really well prepared for the job interview, I guess. Okay, take a look at some top questions that I found and that might be useful to you, just to, take a few of them and be ready for your next interview. So first of all, how would you describe the responsibilities of the position? How would you describe a typical week or day in this position? Is this a new position? If not, what did the previous employee go on to do? What is the company's management style? What are the prospects for growth and advancement? Would you like a list of references? Don't worry, I'm going to translate those questions in a second if you have any questions, okay? If I'm extended the job offer, how soon would you like me to start? What can I tell you about my qualifications? When can I expect to hear from you? And the last one. Are there any other questions I can answer for you? Okay, now I have a question. Which one do you like most? Some people wrote about number 3, that they really like number 3. Any ideas? Which one do you think is the nicest one? Number 9. When can I expect to hear? Well, this is very, very important, definitely. Okay, number 5. Someone likes number 5. Yeah, what are the prospects? Yeah, this is important. Yeah, a lot of people actually are mentioning number 5. Number 4, what is the company's management style? Why not? If it's a completely different company, how would you describe? Yeah. Actually, you know what? When I look at your answers, I think all those questions are useful. So that's it. There was a question from someone to translate number 3. So is this a new position? Czyli czy to jest nowa posada? Czy to jest nowe stanowisko? Jeżeli nie, to co tak naprawdę wykonywał ten poprzedni pracownik? Jeżeli są jakieś pytania dotyczące rozumienia tych zwrotów, Katarzyna wrote that the first 3 questions are probably something that you already know about the company or were at the beginning of the job interview. Yeah, so of course don't ask. Of course, don't ask about the things that you already know, but choose the ones that would be good for you in this situation. Okay. All right. Yeah, number 8. What can I tell about my qualifications? Yeah, some additional ones. Okay, I think that each of you just chose something from the list that would be best for you. Okay, I think that's perfect. Now let's move on to the language part of our webinar today. Now, when we talk about the language, of course, well, you have to use the language that you know, and but it's in a way you can prepare for the job interview. I'm going to help you a little bit how to do it. First, I want us to take a look at the questions that you ask during the interview, because from my experience as a teacher, I know that the most difficult thing for students are questions. Questions, well, this is a complete nightmare for students. So that's why let's review some of the questions that appeared today in our previous topics about top questions and top questions to ask. Let's take a look. We have a question: are you overqualified for this job? Okay, some other examples: are you interested in this job? And the next one: is the job well paid? Okay. All these 3 questions are based on the same pattern. So are you something? Are you something? Is the job well paid? And so on. These are very simple questions, but very, very popular, especially during the interview. Yeah, so don't worry. Today we're not going to talk about all the questions in grammar. We're just going to concentrate on the questions very popular in interviews. So this is the first one: are you overqualified, and so on. The next one: why do you want to work here? Yeah, so why do you want to work here? Again, example: when do you want to start? Or why does the manager work from 7 to 3? Again, those questions based on the present simple tense, which you all know, but it's good to remember not to confuse do with does, So if you prepare your own questions for the interview, make sure you don't have mistakes in those questions. Yeah. So please check that before you prepare your questions for the interview. Okay? Zawsze sprawdźmy, czy gramatycznie one też, wasze pytania na interview są przygotowane. Okay, just a few more questions. Was it easy to find our office? This is the question from the beginning of our webinar. For example, were you happy in your previous company? This is in the past simple tense. So was it easy? Were you happy? The next one is in the present continuous tense. So why are you leaving your job? The same kind of pattern, the same tense. Why is she looking for a new job? Again, in this structure, remember not to confuse this "are you leaving," not "are you leave," but "are you leaving," or "is she looking," not "is she look," right? So always remember to check the grammar of your questions, the questions you prepare at home. And the last question is in the present perfect tense. So have you ever worked in a big company? And the same tense, has she seen these CVs, right? Okay, so I think, I hope all those sentences are clear to you. Do you have any questions for now about those sentences and questions that you see on screen? Is there anything I need to describe, to clarify, or it's clear? Everything is clear. Okay, so I think we are ready to have some, well, exercises. Now, right now on the screen, in a second, you're going to see a very long list of words. Don't worry, you're going to get those verbs in the additional materials that you're going to receive after the webinar. There are even 2 slides with those verbs. These are the verbs selected which are very often used in CVs and during job interviews. Dla wszystkich proszę się nie stresować, że one tak szybko mijają te slajdy i tak dalej. Całą listę dostaną Państwo w materiałach dodatkowych. Okay, I decided to select some of those words and ask you to complete some sentences with those words. Now, you see the first sentence. My company's website to attract more customers. We have A, B, and C answer. Now, please write in the question box your answer. A, B, or C. Okay, good answer. Okay, most of the answers are correct. There are a few wrong answers, so we're going to take a look at it. Okay, but 99% of your answers are correct. Well, the correct answer here is the letter C. So I redesigned my company's website to attract more customers. Okay, restore, let's przywrócić, organize, not really, the company's web, redesigned. This is the correct answer. Let's move on to the second sentence. The old system with the new one. And we have replaced, selected, and constructed. You're very, very quick. Okay, I just immediately just received tons of your answers, and they are all correct. So congratulations, everyone. Of course, the correct answer is A. So I replaced the old system with the new one. You're brilliant, guys. Okay. Okay, number 3. I recently to a company who was looking for someone with my exact background. Okay, you're brilliant. Seriously, I have a really, really strong group here. Of course, you apply for the job. So the correct answer is C. I applied to a company. Number 4. Many problems in my previous job. Listen, I think you're just perfect. Seriously, congratulations all of you. All correct answers. Of course it's B. I overcame. Przezwyciężyłem wiele problemów. I overcame many problems in my previous job. And the last sentence is I was numerous projects. Yeah, very good answers again. Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much for giving me this. Oh, there's one mistake. Okay, but that's fine. Okay, all right. Of course, it's coordinating. It's coordinating. Let's take a look at the ready answers. I'm going to give you now a second to read. If you have any questions about these sentences, you can ask me now. Jeżeli są jakieś pytania, że nie rozumiemy, służę pomocą. I think there are no questions. There's a question, why not have recently applied? Yes, you may say I've recently applied, but this will be more British. Those of you who have been to my presentation about American and British differences, we also talked about the differences in grammar. And it seems like the sentence is simply American, because in American English, you can do a lot of things that look wrong, but they are correct in American English, so that's why it's applied, sorry. I've recently applied. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Now, again, on the screen right now, you see a lot of adjectives which might help you to describe your yourself. Again, you're going to get a full list in your materials, but now let's take a look at this short list on the left. And tell me, how would you describe a plumber? How would you describe a plumber? Plumber, czyli hydraulik. What adjectives would you use to describe a good plumber? Experienced. Yes, we all want to have experienced plumbers. Self-discipline. Oh, definitely. Sense of humor. Wow, sense of humor. Yeah, practical. Okay, and honest. Yeah. Okay, very good. What about the next profession? A lawyer. Determined, someone said a plumber should be a determined person. Yeah, maybe. Lawyer? Discreet. Yeah, discreet. Yeah, a lot of people are writing with discreet. Okay, now let's take a look at the teacher. Who is a perfect teacher? Experienced. Diplomatic. Open-minded. Energetic. Okay. Yeah, we have a lot of qualities of the perfect teacher. The next one, more connected with maybe with some of your profession. Salesperson. Active, determined, enthusiastic, efficient, active. Wow. Okay. Perfect. This is very good. Pleasant. Oh yeah, a teacher should definitely be a salesperson. Pleasant. Okay, and the last one is a doctor. Well, sense of humor. Well, yeah, a doctor should have a sense of humor sometimes, maybe. Experience. Of course, we all want to, have experienced ones. Okay, listen, guys, let's move on. You gave me a lot of examples. Thank you very much. Now let's take a look at the grammar very quickly. I can see that you're a pretty advanced student, so we can do this very, very quickly. I'm going to give you some guidelines, and then you have to guess what tense that is. So describe your daily responsibilities. So you describe your daily responsibilities with this tense. And it's most common to use when you talk about your current position. So give me the name of the tense. Proszę nazwę czasu, który używamy do tych dwóch rzeczy. Very good. Joanna, no. Very good answers. Okay, I can see that most of you know it. Of course, here we have an example. I collect data from all of our branches. Of course, it's present simple. So if you talk about your current job, yes, present simple. Let's take a look at the next one. You describe your daily responsibilities in a former position, czyli w byłej naszej pracy. And the most common tense to use when speaking about the past jobs. Of course, it's past simple. Don't confuse. Pamiętajmy, na pewno to nie jest present perfect. We talk about past jobs, o pracy, której już nie mamy i tam już nie pracujemy, więc na pewno nie present perfect. Of course, it's past simple. Very good. Let's move on to the next one. You speak about current projects that are happening at the moment in time. And projects are limited in time and should not be confused with daily responsibility. So something current. Coś, co dzieje się teraz, nad czym teraz dokładnie pracujemy. Może być tydzień, miesiąc, 2 dni, ale teraz. Super. Okay, we have very good answers. We have an example here. And no, not present perfect. No. Present continuous. So we are expanding our sales division. Mówimy o tym, co jest teraz. Tylko i wyłącznie. Okay, the next one. Generally describe projects or accomplishments that you've made up to the present moment in time. Czyli od kiedyś do teraz. You give no specific past time references. Nie dajemy żadnego słowa oznaczającego przeszłość, jakiejś daty dnia. That's very good. So over here we have standard example of present perfect. Very good answers. Thank you very much. Of course, one more. You discuss your plans for the future. During the interview, you talk about your plans on the future. Again, very good answers. We have an example. I'll be the manager of medium-sized retail outlet. And your answer is future simple, of course. Of course, there's more. For more advanced students, I've been working for this company for 8 years. Now, my question to you, do you still work in this company if you say that? I've been working for this company for 8 years. Do you still work in this company? Jeżeli tak powiemy, to czy to znaczy, że nadal tam pracujemy? No pewnie, że tak. Very good answer. Okay, so you still work there. If you say, I worked there for 8 years, do you still work there? No, exactly. That's very good. You don't work there anymore because it's worked there for 8 years. Perfect. Okay, guys. I think we're ready to take a look quickly at the phone and Skype interview. Have you ever had a phone interview? That's my first question to you. Oh, a lot of you say yes. Very good. Now, there's just a short thing that I'd like you to remember about. So, remember, you never know when a recruiter